Good morning. It's Lions Talk with Smokin' Jeremy B. Fanatics, Dick's Sporting Goods, all sorts of retail establishments have released jerseys for sale, saying the new 2024 Lions jerseys ahead of the reveal. And guess what? I was exactly right. The black is back as the alternate. Hallelujah. The pajama grays are gone. Maybe I was ahead of the curve when I ordered my Hendon Hooker in black last year. That and a cryptic post on Instagram making me think we might have re-signed Tracy Walker. Time for the intro and we'll get rolling. There's 10 people watching. Make sure you put a like in there. We'll discuss the little bit of Lions news we got, and I'm going to address all of you in the comments. On with the show.
Charles here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Bodies by Jeremy Smokkin.
Good morning. Well, according to what I saw, there's no update to the logo. The logos stay in the slightly more ferocious bubbles. Braylon Dennis says this is why we can't have shit in Detroit. Deontay Shaw loved the Grays. I personally hated them. They looked like pajamas or prison uniforms to me. Um, Paul Jones says, good morning. Dave Eastman with a hello, go Lions and FTP. Ricky Sakat, favorite time of the day. Let's fucking go. Smokin' Jeremy B, man, so happy you got your credentials. Nobody has earned this more than you. There's plenty of people who have earned it. As far as new people in the press, I'm so stoked about everything that has happened lately. Uh, Things just come up roses when you least expect it. Fred Peterson, good morning. It's a great day to be a Lion, one pride, but the Blacks are back, baby. So it looks like when I ordered my throwback of Hendon Hooker in a black jersey, I was ahead of the schedule. But I got a 12. So there won't be a 12 issued this year for them. I'm going to try to get that signed and then just put it up with my Billy Sims. The Dan Campbell all black uniform is sweet. Yes, it is. Yep. And there's also a Lions official Twitter. There's a video of Jared Goff holding the new black jerseys. Ricky Sakat, um, both. I'll tell you why. I'll message you personally. Oh man, you crack me up, buddy. I got a hookup for you, brother. I got a hookup. So let's see. In my last shipment, I got my Laporta. Yes, sir. You know I will. I got my branch. I can't remember what the other one I got is. Doesn't matter. Let's see. One, two, three, four, five, six. I have 9 Lions jerseys total if you count my old ass black and blue Joey Harrington that I still have. Yes, I still have it. I heard they're going to be doing something different with the pants. That's what we haven't seen yet. Is what they're doing with the pants. It is a throwback to the old jerseys, like the early late '90s, early 2000s, but with the new logos. William and Mary D. lineman Nate Lynn has a top 30 visit with the Lions today. And I actually like them. I'm hoping the pants are black too. I think that would be dope with like a silver and blue down the center of them on the sides for the stripes. They weren't quite as dope as the ones that I showed that had a twist. I wish they'd have been that. They did do a slight alteration to the alternate helmet to go with the blacks. That hasn't been leaked yet. But Tracy Walker did a cryptic post about "I'm back" and posted a picture of him walking up to the Hertz rental car thing at Metropolitan Airport yesterday. I didn't say I typed cryptic and it said critical, and I was like, man, I hate Evangelist Karen Porter is watching you. Well, hallelujah and God bless. I had that gut feeling. I saw a very darkened photo that was leaked from, and it looks like Amon Ra kneeling down by the size and the shape and everything I saw, and it looked like he was wearing a black jersey. And I said, I bet you it's a black. The lettering is the modern lettering they're doing. They're not the old lettering. Um, Fanatics. Go to fanatics.com. Could be Gibbs in that photo too. Yeah, they're about the same height. But the whites, instead of saying Lions over the lettering, it'll say Detroit. On the blues, it's going to say Lions above the lettering, and the black says Lions above the lettering. But it's on the it is on the whites, it's Honolulu blue with a silver outline. On the blues, it is white with a silver outline, and on the black, it's Honolulu blue with a silver outline. There's no whites on it. And on the sleeve stripes, it's black and blue, Honolulu blue and silver on the whites. It's silver and white on the sleeves, and it's black and silver or blue and silver on the blacks as well. But when I saw the old style lettering, these are all new home uniforms, and the alternate is the blacks for the color rush. I don't know if they're going to make the blacks the color rush or the blue the color rush. That hasn't been revealed yet. So that's the only thing we don't know. I'm just telling you what I see on fanatics.com right now. And people can get mad that stuff got released ahead of time. Yeah, that's the only thing we don't know is the pants. I'm just looking at the uniforms that were posted today on NFLfanatics.com as 2024 Lions jerseys for sale, official Lions jerseys for sale. which if NFLfanatics.com did it, that means NFLshop.com is doing it. That means Dick's Sporting Goods, Dunham's, all of them. You'll be able to see them online. They won't be in the stores yet. Yes, the jerseys were outed before the reveal. I know one thing we won't see, and that's a day one draft pick. We don't know that. I assume I'm guessing we're either staying at 29 or trading back, but the blacks are back, and I applaud it. It's different. It's not the same as the old blacks. That's all I care about. It's a 6:30 p.m. reveal on Channel 7 and on Detroit Lions YouTube channel, Miss Karen Porter. Yeah, that's the song that should be playing in the back of my head is like, yeah, 100%. And on I don't know if you guys. No, it's nowhere near Panthers colored jerseys. I I don't know why people think that. Their blue is totally different. Their blue is more of a teal. And Paul Jones, I agree. Those black uniforms were my all-time favorite. I never associated team success with a uniform. So we may get a little feedback because I'm going to try to post the picture up right now of these unis. You guys want to see them? Okay, give me just a few minutes because I'm technologically advanced, but not phone advanced. I'm better with a computer than I am a phone. So give me just a couple minutes and I will have them in for you. I am doing great because I have something I'm going to post real quick in here. I'm going to put by popular demand, I am going to post the pictures of the uniforms from Fanatic. Okay, here we go, guys. There they are. That is the official 2024 Lions jerseys that was released for sale on fanatics.com. The blues, you can see it has the silver and white, but the silver around the white has the old style lettering. The whites, you see it says Detroit. The blues say Lions and the blacks say Lions. I don't know which one is the alternate. I don't know which one is the home and which one is the away. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. Yeah, that would be dope. I would like the whites to be all whites. I would like the blues to be more like the blueberries, but with that accents with them. And I want the blacks to be blacks with silver and blue. I think it would look dope. Yeah, that blue is fire. Oh, Detroit fan, man, I know you hated the fact that I said months ago, I think we're going to the blacks, guys. Because when I saw the options, I saw two black ones in there. And I was like, it looks like we're going to have the blacks, guys. And everybody was like, oh, God damn it. No, it's so bad. 2008, stop. Well, they released that in 2005. I can't help that Millen was a moron. I still love the jerseys. Dwayne Keene says, let's go. Detroit Lions won pride. Kings of the North Division Championship title. So that's that's where we're at. We have blue, white, and black. But they're keeping the alternate helmet because there was no helmet change except on the traditional one and a slight alteration of the alternate. Yeah, me too. I will have all three. To be honest, though, a ton of people like the blacks and wanted them back, myself included. One funky Lions fan, amen. And yes, if it was with that helmet right there, that would be fire. There was a black alternate that was on the board that looked like that. And we certainly are blessed, those of us that love the blacks, 100%. So there it is. We know the uniform tops. They don't sell the pants to the public. Because think about it. How often do you see football pants rip on these players as much as they're thrown down, dragged across the ground, and everything else? Do we ever really see the pants rip? So I don't know what that material is they make them out of. The ones for actual pros. I know what it was in high school, and those did rip. Devin Bynum says never been a fan of the black, just something about that Honolulu blue. I've seen high school football pants rip. I've seen college football pants rip. I've never seen a professional football player's pants rip. And I know there's plenty of women that watched football to begin with because they liked the tight pants when the guys were all bent over at the line. Don't knock me. I'm being honest. I'm not talking about the jerseys. Uh, Orlando Escobar Jr., I'm going to say this now and you're going to be floored. I have yet to pay over 75 bucks for an authentic jersey, unsigned. Are we switching to cotton like the MLB did? Hell no, that wouldn't last. And that's shipped to my doorstep. I've never paid more than $75 a jersey. Yes, the Nike is still the guys for this year. Oh, that'd be awesome. You know what? And that's something else we haven't talked about. What if the seventh round at 249 they decide to throw the curveball? Um, all of mine are stitched. They are not the cheap ones. I have stitched real jerseys. Just a second. I'm gonna go off camera and I'm gonna get one for you. I'll prove my point. Okay, I'm back. Okay, now look, this is my only gray. I ordered it with as a branch. As you can see, everything is stitched 100%. You see it's got the stitching there just like the actual ones. They came with the sticker and the right white one has 313. The white one that I just showed a picture of, I didn't see 313 on it, but there is my stitched branch right there. Came with the Nike tag, the official NFL logo. But at 249, I would love to see us get Al Blades Jr., Benny Blades' nephew, right here before he gets ruined by somebody else. That's the only gray one I ordered. I'm going to say Saltines, Detroit fan, man. And they're not Panthers jerseys because we came out with them before the Panthers exist. Come on now. He is nice. I've seen some bad ones. Numbers all small and seam lines wrong. Yeah, I know. Saltines works for me. So we got the blueberries, the saltines, Panthers, Jeep pounding. I know you meant to say keep. That's great. Jeep pounding. Okay. On the inside part of the neck, the blues say one pride, and the whites, the blueberries say one pride, and the saltines say 313 inside the neck, stitched into it. So that's a new touch. Come on, saltines have a little yellow ting to them. I'm being salty. Come on now. You know it's all about fun. But it's funny. I got this flash with Barry Sanders, had all the extras put on it, the clips, the face shield. Who's worth buying a jersey? I hate buying one when they're off the team. You know what? It's up to your personal preference. I think he'll sign the extension. He's got all year to do it, Orlando. I don't know if anybody was watching last night, but on the first mock, I decided to be salty. I made the Packers get a kicker in the first round. Let's see. I got a uh, here's who I have, and I'll tell you who I haven't ordered yet because I had my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Out of last year's draft, I got Gibbs, Campbell, Laporta, Branch, and Hooker. I got 5 just from last year's draft. I am definitely getting myself some Detroit Lions gym shoes. I already got them. I got a pair of the all whites that are custom. They have Smokin' Jeremy down the side. I have the ones that are half blue. I call them my home shoes, which I will be wearing to the draft. And they also got Smokin' Jeremy on them. I'd get a black hutch and a white branch. Oh, Fred, get up. There you go. Well, I also got Amon-Ra St. Brown in a custom one that I found, and it was black and gold. It was the old Salute to Service where they didn't have any camo because I believe black and gold used to be a Marine dress uniform at one time. So I got that one. I got my Panay in a blueberry. Andrew, I have no expectations. Oh, and I got my Laporta. Like I said, the first 5 picks we did in the draft, I got all of them. I got a Rodriguez and I got a Hutchinson. And that's Jeremy has his personal child that makes his apparel in China. Monty, Goff, I'm back and forth on. As much as I hate to say it, I think Monty's going to be a stopgap. I know we all love him. I love what he does for us, but I think they're going to draft his replacement possibly next season. I'm not trying to be mean, but we tend not to pay older guys, and he'll be getting hitting close to that 30 mark. We don't even have a St. Brown. Yeah, but he's 26 turning 27. Next year he's 27 turning 28. The following year he's 28 29. You see what I'm saying there? We signed him to a 3-year contract for a reason, and the way he's playing, he's going to want more money. Damn it! I decided to drop several hundred this year to get jerseys. It's a great year to get jerseys. I definitely will be ordering mine shortly. 28 is the new 30 for running backs. I'm telling you, we're going to go younger. We're going to save money. I have a harder time buying vets to be signed to the team. I almost bought an anal zone, whatever you want to call him. The first year we got him, so I watched him miss so many tackles. Guess what? I I couldn't do it. That first year he was awful. And now, granted, part of that was learning a brand new scheme with AG. And then the second year, say what you want. Yeah, I didn't buy a Jared Davis either, and I was at that first home game. Most improved last year. Glad about that. Yes. Anzalone was much improved over the last 2 seasons. His missed tackle rate in 2021 was an appalling 22%. In 2022, he lowered that to 16.5, and last year he lowered it to an 11. And I'm sorry, we misused Jared Davis. He was never a middle linebacker. He never should have been put as a middle linebacker. Anzalone was in the anal zone. um, I started calling that because every time he dove at some Orlando, you weren't the only one. I called it out on Russ's show as a guest. I think you were watching that day. He's a leader in that linebacker room. So the next guy steps up, And it already happened last year, and everybody missed it because it didn't happen on the field. It happened in practice and in preseason. I think they're awesome. No, it wasn't Barnes. Who took over for Barnes? It was Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell had the green dot with the ones all off season and in the preseason games. Pat Rothwell, it's fantastic. Once again, doesn't matter what it is in the off season. If I call it's going to happen, it usually happens. There it is. Those are your jerseys. I have bought I have a Charlie Batch jersey. I was so upset we didn't take Brian Get Greasy that year, so I bought a Charlie Batch jersey. I still have it. And Campbell looked good when Anzalone went down. Give me 3 players I do not want the Lions to take. Ennis Rakestraw. And with the way he's falling and the way I've heard some things about his medicals, Jerzon Newton. And I don't want Chop Robinson. You're right. I don't want Chop Robinson. My old Ernie Sims jersey never got enough wear. I still occasionally wear my Harrington jersey to work, to do stuff around the house. That's all been played down. He is not a cancer. Teammates have came out and publicly in interviews defended him. So I'm not on the. I think Ennis Rakestraw is the most overrated player, period, in this draft. He's falling because he's got some medical issues. That's why he didn't do his pro day. He didn't do the combine. He has not run anything, and I think it might be bigger than everybody thinks. Ken Fisher, I have 3 number 20 jerseys: Barney, Sims, and Sanders. Well, I only have my first one, which is Billy Sims. Brian Thomas Jr. burns my britches how high he's projected. I still think he's less overrated than Ennis Rakestraw. Ennis Rakenstraw is the one where I will walk away from the podcaster booth live. I'm sorry, when you have 2 passes defended and 2 interceptions, but you give up a QBR against the highest in the NCAA. Well, they're very versatile players, and that's something that Brad Holmes keys in on. Jerzon Newton is not a versatile player. I think we rank Darius Robinson way ahead of Jerzon Newton, Detroit fan man. I There isn't much in the first round that's overrated, but I think the quarterback class as a whole, the quarterback class as a whole is very overrated this draft. After you get past the top 5, you know, Williams, Drake May, Jalen Daniels, JJ McCarthy, and Michael Penix, they'll make it 6. Bo Nix. After those 6, the drop off is tremendous. And believe it or not, Orlando Escobar Jr. You say after top 5, there's a huge drop off in talent, but every year the draft proves us wrong on this. I I really don't want JPJ. I think 3 offensive tackles, maybe 4. I think 5 or 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. Wide receivers, I think we are going to see 6 or 7 go in the first round. Tight ends, we're going to see 1. Interior O linemen, you could see 3. Uh, Cornerbacks, it's 5, maybe 6. Because everybody reaches. And who's one of the ones that reaches the most? And they covet speed. They're going to take the 7th best wide receiver early unless they trade back. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about in the league. I'm talking about out of the draft. Sauce and Witherspoon are exceptions. Jair wasn't a first round pick. Diggs wasn't a first round pick, was he? And I disagree with Diggs being in there. It's Sneed. It's L'Jarius Sneed. They might not do either. I have the feeling all the good DNs are off the board before they get to us. I think all the corners and defensive ends are off the beat. No, what I'm saying is there's been elite cornerbacks found in the second, third, and sixth round. This is the one of the deepest cornerback pools there's been in ages. Damn it, people don't listen. More busts than fines in the first round. You're absolutely right, Escribano Jr. Almost 90%. Almost 90% of the cornerbacks picked in the first round bust. You're making my point for me. And Okuda was touted as the best cornerback, a generational talent out of since Charles Woodson. Those were the exact words of every draft guy. Remember that? Which one are you talking about? Because there's 2 in this draft. And cornerbacks are one of the hardest positions to get going in the NFL. Not as much anymore now that people are more athletic and have better change of direction skills. He's up there worst all time with Rodgers. No, he's up there with Andre Ware. He's up there with Randy Pete. He's up there with Mike Williams, Charles Rogers, um, Jordan Dizon, Teddy Lehman, Ernie Sims, Boss Bailey. Can I keep going? Terry Fair. That's who he's up there with. He's up there with Terry Fair. Taking Charles Rogers at 3 over Derek Brown or Isaiah Simmons made about as much sense as taking Terry Fair over Randy Moss. That is the pick that hurts me the most in my lifetime, the 1998 draft. Absolutely. The wrap and roll tackle. Yeah, Terry Fair. Ouch. Second worst was Ebron over Donald. We just drafted 2 years before that Brandon Pettigrew in the first round. Remember from the Oh, Green? Green is good, but he's not a day 1 or day 2 talent in my opinion. Um, he has good speed, he has good cover skills, but he lacks the change of directional skills. He will get beat by double moves. You know, I'm not as upset about Mike Williams because he had the game film and the study and everything else there to back up why he should have been a top 5 pick. NFL was pissed Millen put that pick in so fast. That was you talking about Ebron? Are you talking about Ebron? Are you talking about Mike Williams? Yeah, 3rd round guy, possibly 4th round guy. Um, oh, they were pissed we put in the pick fast for Hutch. They were pissed we put in the trade fast for JMO. They were and the pick. They were pissed when we put the pick in for Gibbs. Come on now, they can't get over it. They hate when a team picks somebody in the first minute because it doesn't give them enough time to bullshit about the previous pick and how great he is. In 2021, when we were drafting where we were, they were still raving about Trevor Lawrence, who's mid and possibly a bust, in my opinion. Right. Jason Hanson, only kicker we've ever taken as high as the 2nd round. The foul, what was it, 9 years later, Seabass? My favorite bust. Who? Who's your favorite bust? Mike Williams? I'll tell you what, coming out of college, I loved Williams. But I also said at the same time, I wanted Michael Crabtree around that time when he came out. Remember that? But I mean, if teams take 1st round picks in their first minute, how can ESPN show us 24 commercials in between each pick? Charles Rogers was out of MSU was my favorite. I was yelling, told y'all from the mountaintops on Lawrence. I mean, a QB that's played 3 years and missed less time than Daniel Jones. 2 more touchdowns and 4 less interceptions for Daniel Jones, and we bust Daniel Jones's balls every chance we get. And Trevor Lawrence has worse stats. 1 less on completion percentage, almost 3 less in QBR. Yeah, he went into a stacked Clemson team. What's funny is the year that Isaiah Simmons was drafted was the year we drafted Jonah Jackson, correct? Jonah Jackson had only given up 1 sack in 4 years starting for college because he was a starting guard for Rutgers before he transferred to OSU and started 3 years in a row. And his only sack he gave up was against Clemson in the NCAA playoff game. And Steve Mariucci is my favorite bus. Only Detroit can mess that up. Henry Gray says, "Good morning, JB and One Pride family. It's great to see you, Henry Gray. And just so you can see them, I know they've been leaked. There they are in all their glory. Look what it says inside the black one on the stitching of the neck. It says Motor City. That's awesome. Inside the blueberries, it says One Pride, and in the saltines, 313. Which was um at 29, I'm going to give you my 3 picks in no particular order. It's Darius Robinson, Cooper Beebe, or Adonai Mitchell, because I don't think any of the corners or the DNs are there other than Darius Robinson. Detroit had a lot of bus over ever since Brad took over. All drafts have been gems. Yes. All I remember is getting told I don't know football when I said I'd rather have AJ Terrell over Okuda. They said if they draft Okuda, they will be fired by Thanksgiving, and I was off by 2 days. 3 technically, because it was announced on Sunday, but it wasn't official. I'm with you, Orlando, especially for the team that is known for developing great QBs. Adane, are the new jerseys going for about 200? I know if you wait for them to hit the actual sporting goods stores, they are about 130. Kyle Simmons says I want Darius Robinson. Went 8-5 at USC after those receivers left for pros. But I never pay full price for my jerseys. I did show my look, and it even has the emblazoned silver around the NFL stitch stuff, not cheap. I get mine shipped to my door for $75. Oh, hold it up. This was none other than our fourth pick in the draft that we had last year when we traded up to 45 and took Mr. Brian Branch. Just like the other ones, the only thing that gets pressed on is the sleeves. Unfortunately, it still has this on the shield. I hope they took that off or did something a lot smaller. Anyways, let me look at that picture. I want to see if I see it again. Get a custom FTP one signed. A Benny Blades descendant. Brian Branch is a relative of Benny Blades, but there's one in the draft. I know that. Oh, I missed something here. King Duke Davis was bringing somebody up here. Still nearly 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He will have better weapons in Chicago that he's had in college. Yeah, could be. TJ Tampa has good change of direction skills. He's a little on the slower side at that almost a 4.5 speed. He goes, that looks fire, that Branch jersey. Yes, sir. A family member bought me a jersey for Christmas off Amazon. I appreciated the thought, but my gosh, it was way bad. The color was off, the sleeves that were mesh, and the numbers were crooked. Yeah, they happened. And more than likely, they didn't get it. The link was on Amazon, but it wasn't an Amazon based store. Anal zone. The only reason Danny Dimes gets more heat than sunshine is simply because of the New York. I heard they did take it off. Okay, that's nice, but I know they said they probably weren't going to take it off, Andrew. They were just going to make it smaller and less noticeable. Well, I think we're better by subtraction. We got rid of the one guy that was starting last year that gave up more than anybody. I mean, he played 600 snaps and only had 6 impactful plays. So I disagree. I think we actually got better by losing him and better by Will Harris being a and we got better losing CJ All CJ was a mouth, a loud mouth punk. 100% luxury draft. I see no holes. There's still holes. They're just not as glaring. That's where I'm at. We need help. We need depth. We need more rotational players than we need starters right now. Shit disturber. Oh, yeah. What he did uh, when he got hurt, he tore his pec shoving down Kenneth Walker III. I've been saying I'm about 80% on that myself. I'm 20%. We stay right there. Actually, let me be realistic. Let me give the whole thing. I think there's a 5% chance we trade up. I think there's a 20% chance we stay right at 29, and it's a 75% chance we trade back. According to Vegas, yes, we are. But guess who has the same win total according to Vegas? It's going to come down to who wins what. It's Packers and Lions. Then they got the Bears, and then they got the Vikings, and I think that's right because until we know who the signal caller is going to be, if it's Sam Darnold, Minnesota's going to struggle. They're going to be able to stop teams, but they're not going to be able to score. And we've seen teams like that before, where they have the great defense and no offense. I'm hoping for, Kyle Samus, and you can say I'm crazy or whatever, but if you look at the 16 games that Marcus Davenport has played over the last 3 years, he's had 22 and a half sacks in 16 games. So if he's able to be healthy and be on the field for 10 games this season, he should be pretty productive. Um, we also signed Matthew Betts, the sack leader and defensive player of the year out of the CFL. He had 18 and a half sacks there. Yeah, we pray on him being healthy. I want him just healthy for 10 games while the whoever we get develops behind him. That's my point. Lions 13, Packers 12 at the end of the year is my prediction. I He goes, "Yeah, Detroit's on the right path." I, I don't even want to talk shit. I'm going to say exactly what I think right now. I think the only thing the Bears are going to struggle with is they got to fix that interior O line because they let their best interior offensive lineman statistically go with Cody Whitehair to clear up cap space. So they need to attack that in the draft. I almost would take the best interior O lineman with the ninth pick over going over any offensive weapon because the wide receiver room is deeper than the quarterback room. Uh, you can keep wishing on hell for that. I hope we don't trade up at all. I don't want to give up any draft picks. I'd rather get more draft picks and save money. Uh, Because let's say the worst case scenario happens. Cam Sutton's contract does not get void and that we get hit with a total of 19.5 million off of our cap room. Nobody's considering this right now. And that's why I think a trade down happens. They're looking ahead saying, man, if we get screwed out of this, we're in trouble. And that's the last thing I want. I don't want to be in cap hell. Green Bay had a top 15 defense last year. Our defense was much lower. Well, he was released on an OIR and it was pled down to a misdemeanor, which means he probably won't even do jail time. But according to the policy of the NFL, and he had a domestic violence case, he will get a suspension this year. and he can draft once, and so it only makes sense to get as many picks as possible. Where this draft is deep. Defensive end is actually deeper than people think. Go look at the RAS scores. Go on there and actually look up stuff. He breached his contract by committing a crime of domestic violence. It's why Marvin Hall got, remember when everybody cried because Marvin Hall got cut? Everybody cried every time we cut somebody over something stupid. Joe Cullen, we fired him. You guys all remember him. The drunk naked guy at a Wendy's drive-through. Wasn't that our old offensive line coach, if I remember right? You know what? And the fact that either the DA or she lowered the charges once he was in jail because he was released the next day OIR. He did one night in jail at Hillsborough County. That's it. So maybe there's a payoff there. Who knows? But he did not get his 10.5 guaranteed because they canceled that because that was the day the check was going out. And that was released first thing in the morning. I That was Ray Rice, and they admitted that they did him wrong. It was a little too steep, but in that video, it looked. But certain things happen at certain times, and with doing the morning show, I get to break the early morning news really quick, and I love that. I love being ahead of the curve instead of behind the eight ball. And I know Dan of Lions Talk Live was already on talking about the jerseys as I went live. I mean, he literally went live 20 seconds before me. I do a scheduled show for a reason. I picked 11 o'clock when it was offered to me for a reason because 10 o'clock hardly anything comes out. And Tristan Williams says, "Hi, Jeremy." Yes, Tristan, this is what I was saying. When you posted that in the chat, I was already showing this on here. I'm stunned how accurate you are with your history and knowledge of not only the game but the players. You are definitely a star in your own right. Thank you, Ken Fisher. Um, if anybody goes back and look, right around Thanksgiving, right after Hendon Hooker got hurt, and I found out what it was, and I found out that Brad Holmes. That made me laugh. Uh, when I found out Brad Holmes had been scouting Hendon Hooker for 9.5 years at that point, and we had just signed JT Barrett, an athletic quarterback, as an assistant QB coach. He goes, "That's funny." Uh, I said on that podcast, it was either just before or just after the Thanksgiving, and Dom DeRubis was there, Dan Leonard was there. I said, "You watch. If Hendon Hooker's there in the third round, we're taking him. He'll be a lion." I said it 6 months before the draft. Um, I called the 2007 draft verbatim, pick for pick, 1 through 8. The only thing I got wrong at 8 was who they drafted. I didn't think the Panthers were gonna take JC Horn. Yes, he did run a slow one. He's projected as a day 3 pick, so 4th through 7th, he could fall anywhere. When everybody look and they say they're not projected, anywhere from 200 through 400 usually might get picked. It's after that. I mean this the best way possible. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, but I think you need a life. You know what? Ken Fisher, um, I know you weren't around when I first started. You were around once I got to the Lions villain squad. I'm gonna be realistic. 2016, my life changed. Yeah, it's wrong. But on February 8th, halfway through that Super Bowl, I had a phone conversation with my oldest son. And he pleaded with me because I said, "Don't count the Patriots out. They're gonna come back and beat the Falcons." And he goes, "There's no way." That was the last time I talked to my son, and as he got off, he pleaded with me. He goes, "Do something with the football knowledge you have. You know way too much. You talk about football way too much." He goes, "And you don't even work at it." He goes, "It's not your job. It's just a passion. You just know and you remember things. And, you may not always remember it right, but you're close enough that people go, 'Jesus Christ, he's actually pretty good.'" And, that was the last time I ever got to talk to my son. He perished in a single car crash with a tree that night. It took me 5 years to finally do something. I started getting more active in Lions pages 4 years, and then in the 5th year, I had a falling out with the page I was on and started my own page. And lo and behold, 4 years ago today, I started doing video calls through my Facebook page, Motor City Kneecap Biters, talking with just fans of the team. I'll get to that. And that was the whole last year of Matt Patricia and all that stuff. And I said, you know what? We're going to be lucky to win 4 games. I sat there. I said, this defense is trash. The coordinators are trash. The offense, as long as Stafford's there, it's good, but that's about it. We don't have a great O line. We have a good running O line, not a great passing O line. And that's been the history of Detroit up until 2021 in drafting Sewell. It's been that way. So I'm happy you had that conversation because 4 months later, when I had my heart attack, and I woke up to my mom, my dad, not my dad, my stepdad, my daughter, and various other people who love me there. And I thank every one of them. I knew I had to do something. And I started it then. And then in 2021 on the Motor City Kneecap Biters page, like I said, I was doing those video calls and I was approached by Jim Bordeaux. He joined one, and I was shocked. The guy that runs Detroit Lions on the Prowl is jumping in my live. This is cool. Because it was just a Facebook type of Zoom call. And he stayed on after it was over and everybody left. He goes, "My God." He goes, "I can't." He goes, "I can't believe the football knowledge you have. Will you be on as a guest? I normally reserve it for podcasters, but I'd like to get your takes. You're funny. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. And I'd like you to be on Free for All Friday." And so lunchtime, 11 a.m. that Friday, I hop on and I'm sitting there cheaping cigarettes and having a good time. And John Robinson piped in and gave me the nickname Smoking Jeremy B. And it stuck. I was using a cheap ass microphone that had, was really super hot and it picked up everything. When I would breathe, he would say, "He sounds like Darth Vader. Maybe he needs to slow down on the smoking." It's okay. He can ask that. I have seen that, and I personally think if Kool-Aid is available, they'll take Darius Robinson. Um, because I don't expect Kool-Aid will be there. That's the reason why they. I think a lot of people are being more realistic with their mock drafts lately. So I went from that to We Are Lions Nation. Um, I was with them a season. They had been going for 3 years on YouTube, and they had 29 subscribers, and I love Andrew Souls and Statman to death, and I thank him because that's how I met my co-host, Dan Leonard, was on this show. Dan Leonard came in doing his best laid parlays because he's a gambler guy, and I was like, "Huh, pick the opposite and you'll win," and just being a smartass, and I was right because he rarely won it, and, but that's how we got to be this oil and vinegar type of hosts we are. And we get along great now. It was worse then. We used to pick on each other incessantly. But after he signed Kenny Galladay, all bets are off. The gloves came off. I had fighting words. Um, so they started with 29 subscribers on my first show just before the season started. They ended the year at 209. They're still in the 200s, and I respect them. They're still going. They don't do as much in the off season as I do. They don't go live at hardly at all, except maybe during and after the draft, and then they quit, and then they come back at preseason and give their projections, and I'm good with that. That's what they do. And I decided, you know what? It was after that December game, and we lost, and these guys are being homerish, and I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm out, guys. It's been a fun year. All right. So that's how we got to be kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions. I started it solo. I would have guests on every night, and I didn't do any of the solo shows like this. And it wasn't because I couldn't, it was because I didn't want to. I enjoy talking to people. But I realized the more guests I have, the less I can attend to the chat. And the less I can attend to the chat, the less people I have watch me live. So, how did I meet Diddy and how did I get those draft tickets? Asking for, I did not meet Diddy once again. Orlando. Thank you, Henry. I had a coworker who worked with me at Brandon's Tire. He's a part of the event staff. He didn't know if I'd get my credentials. Um, Having an NFL player once they're under contract on a show is almost impossible. So I will try to do what I can to bring them on early and often because it costs money because money has to go to their agents. And if they have an agent, we're kind of screwed. Money has to be paid to the agent to have them do any public appearances like that. So I'd have to really charm the socks off them to say, yeah, I'll do it. What the hell? But I'll tell you some of the parents that I've met and I became friends with. One is Derek Barnes Sr., Lakeisha Cephas, Quintess's mom, who has a kid in this draft too, Josh Cephas, the little brother. Plays the same position, played for a small school. Um, wow, behind the scenes stuff. I didn't know. Appreciate that. It is hard. You know, the best way to meet a rookie and talk to him for any length of time is find a small town when they go to do a signing, not the big ones like at the Pro Sports Zone or anything like that. That's how I met Charles Harris. Was at the Kochville signing just outside of Saginaw back in 2022, right after the draft. and it was I got to sit with them for 15 minutes because hardly anybody was there. I waited to go last to get my helmet and get it signed just because I wanted to talk to him. And I asked him to do a shout out. And I goes, "If you need money, I'll pay for it." He goes, "Nah, man, I got you. You're a good fan." I thought they just come on for publicity. They charge is news to me. Um, the only time they don't charge is prior to the draft. So during that time that we're there during the day Thursday, I'm going to try to do what I can. It's one of the reasons you're so lucky, Jeremy. I'm so jealous. That would be a dream. So I'm going to try to bring them on. I've got an extra camera, a 1080p camera that I bought. I got me a little USB splitter, and I'm going to see if it works. I'm going to have one facing that way and one facing this way, and just log it on when I can. I may have to get an adapter and plug it into my phone to do it. I don't care. Or get one of those vlogger kits for my phone to be the other one that logs in. And yes, this is a dream. There's no bullshit here, guys. I am so honored, blessed, whatever you want to call it. I am. Meeting Scott, he was doing his Inside the Pigskin podcast. My buddy Dom DeRubis was on there. Detroit Dom. You ain't bullshitting. Um, and he was doing his podcast with Melfar Jr. and all those guys. And they started talking. Dom brought up the previous regime and why it sucked. And I literally jumped in the chat. And I sat there, I said, Boob Quinn and Matt Patricia, a GM that can't make a pick outside of O line, and a coaching staff that can't develop a Polaroid picture, let alone a player. Oh, I do get access. With NFL press credentials, you have all access. It's no different than what oh, you mean the Lions draft room? Yeah, I'm not at Allen Park. So what's your access? What do you get to see and what do you get to hear first? Those type of things. Well, um, we get to go anywhere behind the scenes of the stage. We don't get to be on the stage. We don't get to be on like on the NFL stuff and all that. And if I did, if I did, that'd be great. I'm hoping I get invited up to talk Lions because I will be wearing something Lions. At least my podcaster shirt every day in my shoes. Right, Brad? You should review whoever the Lions take in the draft. Absolutely, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna do my own little scouting report. I'm gonna pull it right out of there, and I'm gonna take the best parts of it and make it my own. Me, I always got my Smokin' Jeremy B twist. Yes, I am gonna frame it. I've already thought about this. Um, this is my first NFL true event. I have podcasters all over the country I've been friends with, and some that already have their national press credentials. And I'm hoping they're there because I would like to sit down and do a little talk with them about their team. Nicole Guest of the Blonde Blitz. Uh, why am I still live, you old fool? Because people asked how I got into this. So I told them the story, Leonard. You know the story. Will I still go live Thursday morning? If I can, I will. It depends on what time we get everything set up. If I'm able to go live, I'll do it. Even if I got to do it by phone just to show you what's going on around the draft, I'll do it. It might be really short though, guys. Whoever gets drafted by the pack, get them to say FTP on video. Bunch of nosy wankers. Now you're sounding British. And Living Up Leonard says, hi, JB. And I want to say thank you. Everybody in the chat, everybody here. You guys are my Lions family. You guys are my Lions family, and I will always be there. Everybody said it's going to be Cooper DeJean, but I think they go O-line for the Packers. And I pray to God that Buffalo doesn't take whoever's there because the last corner will be on the board at that point. when the Bills picked just before us, they got the 28th pick, we got the 29th. They you are my family, bud. I mean, you this is my online community. This is my family. Why do you think I talk to him like this, Leonard? Come on now. I already called you my brother from another mother, privately and publicly. And your wife is my sister from another mister. I love you guys. I love the way your kids sneak in past your little drop and go "Mm," before we go live. It's cute. I do like how the internet is asking Lions fans to group chant Jerry. Oh, they probably will, and it's just to fuck with Caleb. That being said, it is time to talk about my sponsors. I do have to get ready for work. I've been on for an hour and 16 minutes. And you know what? It don't feel like it. It's talking about Lions and everything else. It's something I love to do. I don't do it because I have to, and I don't do it because it's work. I don't do it to get paid. That's what everybody doesn't even understand. Little and yes, the draft being in Detroit makes it so much sweeter, but once you get into one event with the NFL press credentials, you're on the short list to be in the next one as long as you don't fuck it up. And I don't wanna get too nasty here, you know what I mean? I was thinking about trying to get a hold of Caleb because I know he's gonna be there and ask him if he'll do an FTP when he gets picked by the Bears. That was what I wanted to do. I don't know if anybody thinks that's a better idea. I think that would be great. The number 1 pick hollering out FTP as he walks off the stage. What do you guys think? National spotlight at the D. They'll be talking. Actually, they're going to be talking more about the city of Detroit and then the Lions too. I already know what's going on because it's already started. There, a couple of people have said, "Oh, there's a whole bunch of boarded up buildings and the place looks like crap," and they don't understand what downtown has been renovated like over the last God since the Super Bowl. They have been cleaning up the blight of downtown ever since they knew they were getting the Super Bowl in 2005. Downtown looks 100% better than what it used to. That park that they're in, you should have seen the cleanup they were doing right after the thaw. They've been busy. They've been trying to make this stuff right, and they wanna do it right, and it's all there's police lines around it and over some Orlando, you're right. I love downtown too, and the fact that we got all 4 sports right there. Hockey, basketball, baseball, and the Lions all within what, 6 blocks of each other altogether if you walked around it because, let's face it, Comerica Park, that's 4 city blocks right there, just the field, not including the parking lot. Oh, yeah, prior to that, that's why it looked like that. Mayor Young, absolutely, and Kwame. Wasn't Kwame another one that did it too? But the arena's close, I'll revitalize the D. That's why I think Pack will move to Milwaukee if that mayor doesn't pull his head out of his rectum. He needs to bend over, grab his ears, and make a loud popping noise and think about what he's doing. He wants to go from the 19.5% personal seat licenses to 25% before he'll come off the renovation money. And there isn't a single team in the NFL that gives a city 25% personal seat licensing. But yeah, I love you guys. But I do have to get ready for work, and it's getting later, and I've got food here. I've got a wonderful 3-meat omelet with toast and sausage gravy that I'm very interested in digging into. But there's our favorite sponsor, and that's who we want Caleb Williams to shout out as the number 1 pick. I wanna hear him say FTP at the top of his lungs as he walks off that stage, because that would be a defining moment. No, it's not even fudge the Packers. Come on, it's fuck the Packers. It ain't a florist. It ain't free the puppies. Even though I like it when the women free the puppies. Don't ever stop me from stop yourself from doing that for me. I like that. Make sure he knows I'm the only one that says he ain't a bus. I'm not gonna call him that to his face. I'm not even gonna talk about that. Like ever rating the P guy. I want it to be a trend. I know you're great. Oh, and Gloss Negron, the best window tinner in Saginaw at 609 Hamilton Street. The number is 989-443 to 9240 to set your appointment for your window tinting or your auto detailing. He does fantastic work, as denoted here by the 300C class and the Audi SUV. If I knew the model, I'd shout it out. I don't. I just know the make. And last but not least, there's the place where I work, the place where I spend 25 hours a week making my salary, because that's all I have to work to make a decent salary and make a living off of. Brandon's Tire, right at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road, Flint, Michigan, 48507. Stop in, see us. We have the best prices on used tires and great prices on new tires too. And even though that shop don't look like much, we still got to work on a 1963 Silver Phantom Rolls Royce with Cadillac pearl white paint. In that condition, they're worth about 500K. So if they trust that thing at my shop, you can trust anything else you drive. It has been a great day. And I'm going to say this because I do try to live it myself. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to all of y'all. It took me a while to find out those were setups and not real news networks, but then real people did it on real news station, and I giggled every time. Yes. Um, Thank you, everyone in the chat. Mr. and Mrs. Leonard, Orlando Escobar Jr., Ricky Sakat, the new one that popped in. Let me get that name again because I want to make sure he knows. David Myers. We also had another new guy pop in that I hadn't seen before. Andrew Merklinger, I know I've known you forever. Roy Bradow, Darren Kewick. There was another new one guy. Tristan Williams popped in for the first time in a long time. Paul Jones, Henry Gray, Mike Fisher, Kyle Seamus. There's another one. Yeah, it was great to see all of y'all today. Y'all have a blessed day. And as always, keep it real, my big people. I'm gonna groove out for a minute and relax while I finish. God, family, and football, the things I love the most. And as much as you guys say you're blessed to have me do this, I'm blessed to have y'all. Have a great day, everybody.